We are really delighted to have you listening in today. And with me is an exciting guest that I'm going to be unveiling very shortly, that is joining us for the 2025 comm-UNITY podcast. And we are documenting stories of generosity from all sorts of people. And our guest comes from a very special community, or serves and reaches out to a special community that is very aligned to the season and the times or the era we are living in. So, Mark,
Yes.
Karibu, tell us who
Thank
you are.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mm-hmm.
And to all our listeners and viewers, my name is Cherop Mark Cherirei. I work for KACSOA, Kapchorwa Civil Society Organizations Alliance. And I also run programs at Kapchorwa Radio. That's a radio station operating in Sebei sub-region.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that the primary community you serve, or do you define your community as wider as
that is the primary community I
the
serve.
primary community?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of us that are not very familiar, my generation, we don't usually embrace. I think radio is one of the traditional tools or enablers that we work with. But in a side conversation we're having before, you mentioned the power of technology and community, and how. So for you, how are you using radio or communication or media to be able to promote transformation or social change?
Well, thanks for that good question. Operating in a community like Sebei,
Mm-hmm.
one, we do use radio just to promote good goals like local giving.
Mm-hmm.
And from my experience,
Mm-hmm.
now with social media coming in,
Mm-hmm.
we have the radio, WhatsApp group, and other channels that something can just come up, like a caller can call in and say, in our community, we have this happening. And then sometime you go out of your comfort zone just to fact find if that is happening. And people will relate to that. And I just want to give an example that in community, we've had people who have lacked school fees. A story of a young boy is shared that he's just, he has performed very well in school, but he's first of all taking shelter in a granary in their home. He's not able to afford school fees. And then when we get such a story, just follow up. And then people so much in the community, when they feel attached to that story, people are willing to give. And one thing that really touched me is that we've run these campaigns. People give, but at the end of the day, there are people who get information maybe when the cause is done. Like maybe if you had a target for school fees, you reach the target, and then there are people who come in thereafter asking, how come you didn't reach out to us?
Wow.
Like in their heart, they are really they were willing to give,
support.
but because you have closed, maybe you've hit the target and you've closed the timeline for giving. But what still rings in my mind is their willingness to give. That has always struck my mind. So to answer your question is that the traditional media radio that we use up country, we serve a small area that people know, even the community, the families that need support. And if you just run the story, make it clear to them what is happening, people are always willing to give.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Thank you. And one of the things you mentioned that kind of makes my heart beat faster is that even when you've closed a cause, because you are running it maybe as a project,
Yes.
you close. But the generous spirit of our people, of our communities, are not necessarily project bound.
It is not.
And if you think about our theme for this year, for this gathering of givers, 6th edition, 2025, we're talking about generation that serves, generosity that serves, generosity that serves and sustains. While many other forms, or the known traditional forms of generosity, are rescinding or reducing or even stagnating, our people, despite wearing the common label of they have less,
Yes.
they never tire. They always stay. They always sustain causes, as you're saying. So when you mentioned that when you close, people still ask, because for us that is staying,
Yes.
sustaining.
Yes.
And at Steve Legacy, we are very passionate about building an infrastructure for local giving. What would it look like, for example, in that instance, if we partnered and said, fine, this cause was closed, but maybe there's this other infrastructure of giving where you can actually put money so that
Yes.
another child who is staying in a granary, having performed well, does not even have to first call, that we are actually putting in place now systems to be able to actually sustain, stay, and grow our giving culture. Because for now, it seems to be very project bound,
Yes.
time bound, and yet our needs are never really time bound, and sometimes they don't announce. So what would be your thoughts on that? And I'm asking that question because of what you said. So what usually do you do in such
what we
circumstances?
usually do is that, one, if it's like things to do with school fees, if this is, for example, a continuing student, we don't close doors for people to give.
Okay.
And then when I want to share, just like I was here today, I've received lots of messages, again, what's happening in the community.
Okay.
That we have a young girl who had gone to the forest to harvest firewood, and accidentally she slid from the tree and hurt her backbone. And now community is raising funds to support that girl. I think she's in Mulago now. So what happens is, if we have a cause that we've reached the target and something like that comes, people who come in late or are still willing to give, we introduce them to another cause that we are running. And you find that they're always willing to channel their support even in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you mentioned that even while you're here, so whereas traditional media, you had to go to study journalism, today, almost everyone is a journalist. So you guys are sharing your profession with many non-professionals, so to speak. But what I hear you also highlighting is the generosity of the communities to share this information. I don't know if they are on the payroll or they are sharing this information as an act of generosity in itself. They're sharing information.
So again, to appreciate community and even citizen journalism, that people are now sharing information, raw as it could be. Now that helps us to go to the grassroots and fact find and build on these stories better. So they are helping us a lot to raise issues that we might not have known on a normal day. So citizen journalism is something that is really helping.
Oh, wow. So if we are cataloging forms of journalism, so you call it citizen journalism is one of those things that we need to profile and amplify. And so thank you so much, by the way, for utilizing that as well, because maybe other people would underlook and say, but you're not professionals.
It's not, that's
we
true.
thank the professional journalists for embracing and working with the contributions of citizen journalists that are bringing in these raw facts. And then you add value. If this was an agricultural product, you're adding value to the product of news or information you've received to be able to present, again, a refined product, which is also an act of generosity. So thank you so very much. Do you have any questions or any parting shots to our dear listeners?
Mine is just to thank you, Sipsos, for the good work that you're doing, even amplifying these stories. I want to thank you and just to ask you to keep doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are delighted to have had you on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, listeners.